Hello and welcome to another episode of the At the Mini Show. It is January 23rd, 2025. I'm one of your co-hosts, Tom Yumper Garcia, and I'm with my other co-host, Tony the Sugar Baggy Bird. How you doing, my man?
Doing great. Excellent to be here for this mini episode number 2.
Yes, sir. There's a lot of news that dropped yesterday, actually throughout the week. So we had to get out and rush this one out. Tone, yesterday on the 22nd, they announced the Oscar nominations. I just took a few of the Oscar nominations here. For Best Picture, we have Honora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Amelia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. Have you seen any of these films?
I have seen a couple of those films. Yes, I have.
Out of your pick, well, we won't do our Oscar picks, but do you see any of the films here that shouldn't be there?
Oh, well, if you're asking for what's the word I'm looking for? A personal opinion? I
Mhm.
haven't seen the movie and it's what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know about Wicked, but that's just coming from me seeing some of the trailers and but I do know a lot of people are enjoying that movie, so maybe I'm missing something on that one.
I've heard mixed reactions to it. The one that surprised me, well, 2 of them surprised me, is The Substance because everybody I've talked to told me that movie was horrible.
Really?
Yes, and then the other one is Dune Part 2. I watched that movie and it was very boring to me, and I
Really?
tried to get into it. Yeah, I just didn't really enjoy it.
Oh, Dune 2, that was the other one where I'm not a fan of the I haven't really I mean, I rewatched the first one again and it was better than the first couple times I watched it, and I haven't watched the second one.
Mhm.
Um I'm like you, that wasn't something that I think deserved to be a best picture, but I'm not knocking the movie. I know a lot of people do enjoy Denis Villeneuve's work,
Mhm.
and you know, I know a lot of people were excited that it was nominated. So, but the substance, I was going to ask you about that. I read about what it really is, and I think I always use this term artsy fartsy a little bit. There's a lot of it's more of artsy horror, I guess, than just like a straight up horror flick, from what I gather.
Yeah, I I just heard, like, my wife saw it with my mom, and usually my mom's a pretty good judge of horror movies, and she told me she didn't enjoy it. My brother went and saw it, and he told me he didn't like it too much. So I'm iffy on it. Like, I'll watch it, but and then I heard other people tell me that they didn't really like the film that much. So, I don't know, but I've also read reviews that it's great, so I have to judge it for myself. It was just surprising that it's on there. For as far as the best director, we have, Jacques, Audiard for Emilia Perez, Sean Baker for Nora, Brady Corbett for The Brutalist, Carolee for Great for The Substance, and James Mangold for A Complete Unknown. Dennis Villeneuve was actually say shunned out for this one, which a lot of people were surprised about. Um, what do you think about that?
Well, first, I know you. I'm going to take a shot at the dark and see if you've ever seen this horror movie. It's called Funny Games. It came out. Oh, it's got Michael Pitt stars in it. Tim Roth is in it. It's like a couple, and they're like vacationing, and these two kids pretty much terrorize them. I don't know if you've seen this movie. Um, Michael Pitt plays one of the kids. The gentleman who played the other kid in this movie is actually the director of The Brutalist,
Mhm.
which is actually pretty cool to see somebody play, a killer kid in a movie, and now he is a director, Brady Corbett, directing The Brutalist, up for a best director nod. Um, that movie looks really good. I actually had a conversation with Katie earlier about it. If we were to go to the movies and see it, it would probably be the longest movie I've ever seen at the theater. It's 3 hours and 30 minutes, which has an intermission, which I guess is kind of cool. But, um, you know, um, I don't know. There's been rumors of AI being used in the writing for this movie. I don't know. I don't know how you feel, but I don't really know. I don't really know. I'll be honest with you. I haven't really thought too much about that part of it, because if it looks cool and it sounds cool, I don't know. But what do you think?
Well, we can actually talk about that because that's another subject that we're gonna bring up, was the AI being used in the Brutal List. They're saying from what I read in this article from Variety, is they're saying that AI was used to enunciate the Hungarian that was spoken by the actors, as well as clean up some basic, like, features a little bit. And there's a lot of backlash going on that people are a little iffy and about AI being used. Me personally, I think AI is probably gonna become more dominant and predominant in film. It's already coming like, in my world of tech, it's becoming big time where they're actually Meta, for instance, is laying people off because they say that AI can do the job of some developers, which I disagree with because AI still has to be trained, but what do I know? But in terms of film, I think it would be good to touch up appearances, but that has to also be noted if you're sending somebody to the academy. Now, when it comes to replacing language, I don't agree with that. If you're gonna learn the part, you do the part with your best accent. If the actor can't do it, then you hire somebody who's Hungarian to play the role or a Latino to Spanish to play the role. I don't need AI to because I think that word shuts out a lot of actors that could be good in that role. Not saying that Adrian Brody and his co-stars weren't good. I'm just saying if that's the reason they're having trouble, or you just let it ride because people love fucking Scarface, and Al Pacino's Spanish is horrible in that film. But if you watch him in Carlito's Way, it's 10 times better than it is in Scarface, which is mean he learned something to go forward, which is I'm like hands down, I clap for him and give him a standing O. I'm just on that. But in terms of AI, like those are just my two feelings on the use of it. What about you?
Well, number one, that will be the last time I let you take a shot at Scarface in my company. Number two, I'm just kidding. What do I think? Again, you made some excellent points right there. Because to be fairly honest, if it's taking people's jobs, I don't know if I like that part of it. But like, take for instance, there was that other really good movie this year. Was that horror movie? The one on the talk show. What was it?
The devil, that late night with the devil.
Yeah, a lot of people had problems because they used like some AI generated photos in the movie, which is I think is stupid to complain about because if it looks cool, but again, people were upset because it took away artists who could have created that, I guess. I'm not what's the word I'm looking for? Haven't really 100% felt the negativities of it yet. If to be frankly honest, though, I went to AMC just to see what was playing this weekend, and 90% of the movies look like garbage. So if AI has anything to do with that, that could be a problem. But I don't think that does. I think it just means bad movies that are out at the theater.
In
And
terms
I'm
of
sorry,
art,
it could be better movies than 90% is just what I was seeing.
yeah, in terms of like art, it's kind of like a two-way sword. I think it can be good, it can be bad. But art in movies is such a dying market. I can understand why people are upset about that. What I didn't like was Hollywood, and this is the companies were going to use AI like you basically own a trademark of a person and use them as background characters. I think that's horseshit. Like, no, use real people. Um, that's where I think AI isn't good. I don't like voiceover work. AI is kind of taking over that aspect where now they're having celebrity voiceovers. That's something that I don't agree with because that's putting voiceover actors out of jobs, like really good ones. Uh, Now, if you wanna do the Star Wars route of having James Earl Jones record a bunch of lines and then for his to keep his persona as Darth Vader and what he gave them a license to use his voice, which his family is still gonna receive money from it, that's cool then. That's awesome, like, his family's still receiving compensation, but if you're gonna put something fake out there where it's gonna take somebody's job just so you save some bucks, no, I'm not cool with that.
I agree with that, definitely.
But, going back to the Oscars, so we talked about the best director. One thing I did notice on the best director is there was a snub a little bit for Edward Berger, who directed Conclave, and the reason I say that is because for an actor in a leading role, you got Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, you got Timothy Chalamet for A Complete Unknown, you got Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, Ralph Fiennes for Conclave, Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice, and then for actor in a supporting role, you got Yura Borsov for Honora, Kieran Culkin for Real Pain, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist and Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice, but Conclave is also for actress with Monica Barbaro for A Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande for Wicked, Felicity Jones for The Brutalist, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave, and Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez. So you have an actor in a leading role and an actress in a supporting role and Best Picture, but you didn't include the director, which I kind of thought was kind of weird at the Oscars. What do you say?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I've seen Conclave, and I guarantee that the director should have been on the definitely list of best directors.
Yeah, it's crazy that they didn't include him. I was just odd for me to see, but after what happened last year in the Oscars, it doesn't surprise me.
Tomorrow, or on Friday night, whenever you happen to be listening to the show, on our next show, I'll be talking about a movie I watched that a little upset it didn't get nominated for Best Picture, because you just mentioned a director that didn't get um, picked for a Best Director that deserved it. There's two actors you just named in a movie in Best Supporting and Best Acting, I believe, categories, and their movie isn't even nominated for Best Picture, and that's the one with Kieran Culkin and Jesse Eisenberg. Um, um, you just
Real
said the name.
pain.
Yeah, Real Pain.
Yeah, I think that that itself is just strange that they were offered the role of best supporting actor and for Kieran Culkin and best actor in a actually it's just one. It's best supporting actor for Kieran Culkin, A Real Pain. Uh I think it's kind of a throwaway in there, so I never saw the movie, and I'm hoping that it is a lot better than I would think, but it could be just one of those movies that is thrown out there to, basically kind of fill up the pot, I guess, but there's other places you can use, for this that could have done, I guess, better. In my opinion, I think in best supporting actress role, I really, really liked I know people are gonna say, the movie wasn't that good, but I really, really liked Nosferatu, and I really thought, Lily Rose Depp did an awesome job. I thought she should have got nominated for that role. Uh, just as, for the but she was a lead character, she should have got nominated for something, but she didn't. Maybe it was because it was released too late in 2025, 2024 December, I don't know. But like I was saying, Tone, like, I get what you're saying about, Kieran Culkin getting nominated, but like I was saying, it could be just one of those throwaway nominations, you know what I mean? Like, not say throwaway, but take a movie that was good, but his performance was so good it outshined that film. Uh, so it could be one of those aspects. Like The Fighter. The Fighter was a good film, but Christian Bale knocked it out of the ballpark for that one. So it could be something like that.
Yeah,
I
but
haven't
when
seen the
you're
film, but
when you're
Mhm,
talking about Dune 2,
mhm,
and like honestly, there's like no act like movies. The Oscars used to be about acting. Um,
mhm.
I don't really see that in Wicked, so that's my point.
Oh, I feel you. I mean,
No,
and that's how I felt about the uh, best actress last year. So
Mhm.
that's just me. But when we're gonna have an Oscar show coming up, so it'll
Definitely
come
get
up
into all
soon,
this.
and we'll get into more details. This is more just a run through of kind of like what was nominated. So those are some of the nominees. Check them out. Variety has a whole um, article out for the nominees. They also have stuff on the snubs. If you want to check it out and get prepared for the Oscar show, be sure to do that. But speaking of Nosferatu, the director Robert Eggers has said that he's going to direct a new movie called Werewolf, and it's spelled WERWLF, for Christmas 2026. Robert Eggers loves to release horror movies on Christmas that have nothing to do with Christmas, but it's kind of funny. Tell him, what do you think about this? Did you freeze? You totally froze. So Tony froze, but I will tell you this. I don't know what the substance of the plot is going to be, but I will say that Nosferatu, even though I saw the original and I love the original of Nosferatu, I thought that Eggers kind of captured the essence of that film in terms of bring it more modern, with awesome sight lines and sight pieces for that film with Nosferatu and bringing it to a more modern audience.
I'm here. Am I
It
going? I'm here.
Yes, you're there. Uh, but Nosferatu was brought with more to a modern audience, and I thought Eggers did a great job with that, and he does a great job with period pieces, like he did The Lighthouse, that's another period piece that was just awesome. The Witch, another period piece that looked great. So I am really excited to see what he does with the werewolf, as long as it's not a retelling of, the Wolfman from Hollywood cinema, like the old, monster movies from, what's the old monster movies, company, Tone? I can't remember.
Universal.
Universal, thank you. I couldn't get out of my head. But as long as it's not a retelling of that and something different and not the horrible Benicio del Toro one,
Oh, you
if
didn't
it's
like that
something
one
cool,
for
no,
cheesiness?
I tried to, it just didn't. But if
Oh,
this is
one
something
I didn't
different,
like. I did not like the Jack Nicholson one.
yeah,
Wolf?
uh, yeah, you didn't like that one, really?
He's not a wolf in it. I used to be so pissed as a kid. He like just got some werewolf hair on his hands. Like, I want a full wolf. I want
Yeah,
like
but
Wolfman.
Jack didn't wanna be a wolf, man. Jack's Jack.
Yeah, Jack was Joker though.
Yeah, but, in
And I
terms of
also
this
read today, I don't know how true this is, but Robert Edgers is circling a Labyrinth sequel.
who's gonna be David Bowie?
That's a good question. Maybe his son. No, I'm kidding. His son's a director.
I
Good
don't know.
director too. You ever see Moon or
Yeah,
Source Code?
mhm,
Yeah, that's his son. Directed those movies.
good films.
Duncan Jones, yes. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what Wolf, how did you spell it? W-U
Woof.
Wolf.
W Werwulf.
Gotcha. There we go.
Werewolf. So, I don't know. Like I was saying before you, when you lost content, like, I think he does a great job of bringing older films modern. He's exceptional at that, Eggers is. Like, you could tell he's really passionate about these older films and bringing them more to a modern wide audience. Maybe, if this is something different, like a different take on the werewolf, I'd be down for it. Like, there's always been a werewolf somewhere in, for every Wolfman, you have The Howling, and then for every, what do you call, the film that came out with, American Werewolf in Paris, you have in London, you have American Werewolf in Paris, a horrible remake, sequel. But you get those good films that are original ideas, and they have, like, a same kind of background synopsis about the person turning into a wolf, but they use it, to make a romanticized movie of it.
Here's the
Even the new one
problem.
that new movie that came out, Tom, what was, the one that's coming out where the guy is basically trapped in his family and he's turning into a wolf? That one looks interesting.
Yeah. I've heard good things.
Mhm.
Back to you just mentioned American Werewolf in Paris. I wish you could have been with us at the movie theater when me and my buddies saw that one because I actually enjoyed that movie. But now you watch it and the graphics are so
Oh,
god awful in the movie. But like when you saw it in the theater, it was like, wow, this was cool. But not really. It did not hold up over time. Robert Edgers stated when talking about his new movie that he's going to be making that don't ever expect him to make a movie that is set in present time. He
mhm.
states that he will die if there is a cell phone in one of his movies. Very
Wow.
interesting. That's how serious he is at keeping it pretty cool and old school, and he does a great job at it.
Yeah, the movie I'm talking about is Wolfman, and it's got horrible reviews, but, I mean, we could see.
I
But
read the first line of Rolling Stone was like, it starts with promise and then it goes off the tracks. So like,
hmm, it's bad, just horrible line. I mean, but you can't always judge those magazines by what they say, because, they just sometimes they say it's gonna be great, and then you go see it, you're like, "Man, this is a piece of shit movie." I've been victim to that. The Village is one of them. For people who are like, "Oh, it's good," and I went and I was like, "What? What? Were you watching the same movie?" What was it? Nope. That was one movie that was praised by critics, and I disliked it for a lot of reasons. But yeah, that's just a crazy thing. But moving on here, we're gonna go into Benedict Cumberbatch. While Tony rejoins us, he basically comes out with a line that came out on the 22nd. Benedict Cumberbatch came out and said that I am not a typical movie star, sex symbol like Brad Pitt or Leonardo DiCaprio. Well, in reality, Benjamin Benedict, I don't see you that way, so I don't know who is seeing him that way. But he does say that the word sex symbol is derogatory. He says, I'm a celebrated person. Well, for what? For selling cheese, for being on a reality show, for doing something outrageous, for being an actor? Question mark. Cumberbatch is not looking to reprise his titular film, the possible Sherlock sequel, even if it made him a heartthrob. I mean, he's a good looking dude, but I can see what he's trying to say that he doesn't want to be pinpointed or narrowed into that heartthrob roles. Like Leo was his younger career, Brad Pitt. But Brad Pitt actually showed he can act. Leo can show that he can act. So I mean, as long as he can act, he'll be fine. You can't be like Taylor Lautner or Tyler Lautner from the what was that? The Twilight series. I mean, look at what the heartthrob did to Robert Pattinson. Like, it made him hate his career to the point where he took roles out of the ordinary just to get out of that, that boxing, and it just shows how good of an actor he is. In The Lighthouse, he was excellent. In The Batman, I had my doubts, and he was excellent in that film as well. So I mean, he's showing that he can act. Cumberbatch been nominated for Oscars, so he's can show he can act. But I guess we're kind of pulling away from the heartthrob era of Hollywood. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely don't think that. I don't think people look at like they're trying to not make that a thing anymore. It seems like, you know what I mean? And he's a good actor on top of, I mean, a lot of great roles. First, for some reason, comes into my head is he's really great in Black Mass.
Mhm.
As Whitey Bulger's brother. The best is like later when Joel Edgerton like goes to him and he's like, can you tell me? Can you help me? He's like, pretty much like, get the hell out of here. I don't get involved in my brother's business. And he reminds me a lot when I was putting the slides together in this picture I got up on the screen. I don't know why. I just watched this documentary on Christopher Reeve, who was a
Mhm.
really great actor, who was, again, in his own way, women thought he was, good looking. But like, again, um, he didn't want to be looked at as a slut. No actor wants to be looked at. I don't think Leo ever went and wanted to be looked at as like a sex symbol or a teen idol. It's something I think sometimes you fall into. So sometimes if you don't get that label, it's even like a godsend, you could say.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing, like, to be a good-looking actor, but be, you know, considered more for your craft than you are for your looks. Uh, I think is the best way to do it. I mean, Jack Nicholson, people are saying is like awesome in terms of like he's dated a lot of beautiful women, but he's more known for his craft than he is his looks. And Cumberbatch, I guess, is just trying to say, look at this body of work instead of looking at, you know, just him personally, which I can respect and that aspect of it. Speaking of Benedict Cumberbatch, I keep messing up his name. It wouldn't be a show if I didn't mess up somebody's name. But speaking of him, he came out and said that they are thinking about doing a Doctor Strange 3. Now, Sam Raimi was rumored to be a director. No director has been named for it, and no real, official announcement from Ken Feige or Marvel has come out saying that Doctor Strange 3 will be coming out. But he was extremely excited when he heard that Tony Stark, aka Robert Downey Jr., was now going to be Doctor Doom. I believe he said that he texted Kevin Feige and was like, "What the hell is going on?" Uh, they're saying that Doctor Strange will return for the Secret War with the new Avengers film, and then he would eventually have his own release. Uh, there are plans, he tells Sundance, that all the Doctor Strange feature his new Sundance film and not being your typical star. Like I said, he was talking about his sex appeal, but he has come out and said that there are talks about him possibly being in another Doctor Strange film. I personally would look forward to it. I'm a big Sam Raimi fan. I love Sam Raimi, Evil Dead. I love all those, horrible B-list movies. I love Bruce Campbell. I would love Bruce Campbell to have a bigger role in Marvel than he does, instead of Pizza Papa. That's just me, and that's for my own, guilty pleasure. He said that, Doctor Strange you could tell me that Doctor Strange taking a hiatus in the next Marvel sequel. Is that a spoiler? He says, "Fuck it." That's what he said. Uh, Undeterred, he shares that some things when Jonathan Majors he was talking about Jonathan Majors. He says that he won't be in Doomsday, but he'll possibly be in Secret Wars as his next thing. So Doomsday, Doctor Strange won't be in, but Secret Wars will be in. And then he said he will appear in a standalone film, but he said anything beyond. Was hesitant to say anything beyond that. So he probably will be in another Doctor Strange film, and he says he will be in Secret Wars, but not Doomsday. So it'll be kind of cool. Maybe they bring him in as like a last minute say person to save the world and Doomsday. I'm just hoping those Marvel movies are good and they have a good story, which I trust Kevin Feige to do so. And I know Robert Downey Jr. is going to knock it out of the park.
Yeah, I mean, generally, good actors, all of them who are involved. So, the script's got to be there, and hopefully, it's going to be there.
Yeah. Next, we have the story that Ryan Gosling has joined the Star Wars franchise, my man. He is in an as yet untitled movie, and they're saying this could be a one-off similar to Rogue. I forget the film's name. I couldn't think of the
Rogue One?
Rogue One. Yeah, let's say Rogue Fighter. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
that would have been a cool
Rogue
name.
One, which I really like because it has Donnie Yen in there. It could be
Rogue
something.
Fighter? Oh,
Yeah,
no, Rogue One.
Rogue One. Rogue One has Donnie Yen in there. It could be similar to Rogue One or Han's the Solo movie. Hopefully, it's not as bad as Solo, but it could be similar to that. But this is something that's been a long time coming. He's been kind of rumored to be going into the Star Wars universe. He signed on. I really liked him in the Blade Runner series. He's not in the TV series that's coming out, but I think he could do some good things with Star Wars. I love that. Now, this is another person that's identified as a pretty boy, but he's done like a bunch of different roles. He's done like the Ken from Barbie. He's done the driver in I think it's called Driver, where he's
Drive.
like a drive, where he's like a hitman.
Love that movie.
He's done you know, uh the gangster movie and Gangster Squad. He's playing all different types of roles where he kind of could be the heartthrob, but he's also, kind of stepped out of the box, which I love. And he's done Blade Runner, which is Blade Runner 2049 is a great film, a great sequel in my mind. I really
It
liked
is.
it.
Am I here?
Yeah, you're here, man. Yeah.
Blade Runner is a great movie. Another really good Ryan Gosling movie is The Place Beyond the Pines. I don't know if you've ever
Mhm.
seen that movie.
Yes.
Not the one with Russell Crowe in his hefty
Mm.
phase. What's Knockaround Guys? No, Nice Guys. The Nice
Nice.
Guys. That's a pretty
Yeah.
good movie. Um, I'm interested to see this. I'm sure he's going to do a good job. I'm thinking of a bad movie with him in it, and I can't off the top of my head, really.
See, Ryan Gosling, I'm trying to think bad movies. I don't know. La La Land. No, no.
For what it
uh,
was, it wasn't bad.
no, La La Land wasn't bad. I'm just talking shit.
I know you are. I know you are.
I don't know. I can't think of one off the top of my head. That's
I
really,
mean,
really
you
bad.
can go down and see something like, I don't know, like Murder by Numbers with Sandra Bullock, where he's like younger or something like that.
Mhm.
But you ever see Lars and the Real Girl,
Yeah.
where he's got like that doll and he like is in love with his blow up doll and he like brings it to dinner and stuff? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's a great actor, is what my point is, and I'm excited to see him interact with robots instead of blow up dolls in this new Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to see how I think he'll do a good job. And like I said, he steps outside the box in terms of acting. He's an enjoyable actor. Uh, so that is our Ryan Gosling coming to the Star Wars universe near you. And we're gonna close this one out with an article you texted me previously. And Tony, you're there, Tone, but you're froze. Uh, with Sylvester Stallone, Mel Gibson, and Jon Voight are named Hollywood special ambassadors by President Trump. They would serve as special envoys to me for the purpose of bringing Hollywood, which has lost much business over the last 4 years, to foreign countries back better, bigger, and stronger than before. I'm going to be honest with you. two of these three people don't make big movies anymore. Sylvester Stallone's the only big star out of these three people. Uh, Mel Gibson's career has
Jon
fallen off
Voight,
since
what are
he
you
done
talking about? Jon Voight's huge.
for in his own mind, maybe. I mean, like, and don't get me wrong, he's done good work in the past.
Oh yes.
But
Oh
Mel
yeah.
Gibson's done good work in the past, but Mel Gibson hasn't had a hit in God knows how long. Sylvester Stallone was having hits until he did the new Expendables movie, and I heard that movie bombed.
Is that the
Uh,
one with 50 Cent, like Expendables 4 or 5? I don't know.
yeah, it's the one with 50 Cent and Megan Fox. I heard it didn't do too well. Uh, like, but he's doing good stuff with Tulsa King. So, but the other two are not. They haven't been doing anything on the grand stage in terms of anything worth noting that I can think of. Mel Gibson, like I said, I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, politics in Hollywood are always going to be there, whether it be good or bad. I mean, the Oscars were known for having, you can go back to the Brando days of having when talking about the indigenous people, or you go back to what was it? When people would speak during their speeches and they had to cut that out, or was Saki Bomb at the Oscars or was that at the Grammys?
I think that was at the Grammys. Could be wrong.
Yeah, but it's always going to be there. I mean, but
I
I
think it's more funny that he's like, these three are going to clean up Hollywood. Like, yeah, you know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how these three are gonna make Hollywood bigger internationally. Like Jon Voight.
Well, are they going to bring back productions? Because you know what? It's ironic that we had talked about this on our first show last week, because right after we talked about it, boy, what did I hear on the news? Productions dropped even further than what we talked about then because of these fires. So what's Jon Voight going to do? Bring an anaconda into town?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just ridiculous in terms of that aspect. And speaking of the fires, I'm glad you brought that up. The Oscars have decided to forego live performances of music and then make tributes to California for the California wildfires, which I think is awesome. A good way to bring some help and support for those people in California and also the other surrounding states that have been affected by it, which is a good thing that they're doing in Hollywood.
Excellent. It's very awesome because, again, this is something we love. And anytime you can bring awareness and to something that is awfully like this, and it's just really, really awful just thinking about all the places that have like been used for filming that have been destroyed by the fire.
Yep. But I don't think these three people are going to bring Hollywood back. I mean, if you'd have got Dwayne Johnson, maybe, or an international, maybe Pedro Pascal, or
You need someone who's going to be like able to talk to everybody.
mhm.
Like Jon Voight's going to yell at you. The only one who actually is going to talk is going to be Sly, and you're not really going to understand sometimes what he's saying, but it's still going to be cool because it's
That's
Sly.
right. It's Sly.
Like
Sly.
you said, Mel lost his shtick a long time ago. Okay, Mel was really good. And it's not even about it started with that rant when he was at the car or after the Passion of the Christ when he was yelling at the cop. That right there was
Well, that and then the rant about his ex girlfriend and
yeah.
like Sly. I think Sly's big thing was he broke up with his wife over a dog, and then they got back together. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's been in controversy too. But and then hit like I guess back in his 70s when he was in a porn movie before Rocky.
That's why he got his nickname Sly.
Yeah, but so Sylvester's the Italian stallion is where he got that from. Uh, which have you ever seen Ricky 2?
No.
Oh my god. So this is completely off the bar. There's a film called Ricky 2, I believe. Um, and it's a basic knockoff of Rocky.
Really?
Yeah, it's like the guy in there is like a knockoff of Rocky, and he seconds his second job. Ricky 1, it's called. His second job
Okay,
besides a
Ricky.
boxer is a stripper by name of the Italian Stallion, and he wears a horse head. It's a horrible film. It's supposed to be a comedy. Like there's a part in the film where like he's boxing against who it's supposed to be Apollo Creed, but they only call him the champ. They're boxing
Oh
in the ring,
Lord.
and they're like, "Oh, he's bobbing and weaving," and you see the character bobbing for apples and the other one weaving something, was bobbing and weaving. It's like horrible stuff. And Ricky's his trademark line is
Just
"Don't be
start deep
negative."
diving. We'll just start deep diving those type of movies.
Oh my god, it's so bad. AVGN did a review on it, and it was great because he was just like, "What the hell is this?" But I'd never heard of it until I saw that review, and then I watched the film. I found it on like a burner because I don't know if you can rent it, but it's just it's really bad. Like that got me into that conversation with Sly being in his porn movie, being the Italian stallion. But
Amazing.
yeah, that's my rant. But that's the news for the week of the 23rd. If you're listening to this, let us know what you think about the news we shared. Let us know if you want these stories us to bring up or talk about more. Sorry again for technical difficulties, but we got chugged along tone. Anything to say closing us out?
Excited for our upcoming show that'll be coming up this week. Excited to keep sharing these news stories with you. Always a good laugh to have on a Thursday or Friday or whenever you're listening. So listen along, please.
Yeah, I'm such a bad host. I totally forgot about our show tomorrow. We're
Well,
doing a deep dive on the career of Samuel L. Jackson. We're going 5 of our each of our favorite roles with him. Some might be ones you know, some might not. Samuel L. Jackson's been in film for a long time. I think he's in the 100 range of films he's been in. He's in everything, which everybody laughs about, but he is a phenomenal actor, character actor that is. And he has had some leading roles in Shaft. But check us out tomorrow. We'll be on at 8:35 the normal time on the Sadistic Penguin Studios YouTube channel. If you're listening to us on the audio version of this, we'll be on YouTube at 8:35, and that episode will probably drop Saturday sometime around noon on the audio version. But if you want to see the all visual stuff, check us out on the YouTubes. And with that, you guys have a great night, and we will be back next week for more news. And thanks for joining us for this episode of At the Mini Show.